well chat today. I think I've lost count. I think it's about 55 of this COVID-19 coronation journey that we're in. And the country's opening back up. Our state is opening back up. But this corona virus, it's not going away. It's not going away as fast as I thought it would go away. It's almost like, I guess, I don't. I think I knew better, but I guess I thought, once the country opens back up again, we're not going to have to worry about this anymore. But it's still a worry, it's still a fear. And the problem with it is that we still, all of us, have life that we're dealing with. And not only do we just have life and the normal day issues and problems that life brings, we also still have corona that we're dealing with. But I'm so grateful for God's word, and that when we go to his word every morning, he has such encouragement for us. And in Second Thessalonians chapter 3, our reading for today, verse 3 says, "But the Lord is faithful, and he will strengthen you and guard you from the evil one." And then we drop down to verse 5, and it says, "May the Lord direct your hearts to God's love and Christ's endurance." And I'm just so grateful for the people that I have in my life and that surround me and that encourage me so much in life and help me live out these verses and help me to know that God is my guard and he is faithful and that we can endure in this life together. And so, as we're coming up on Mother's Day week and we're celebrating all the ladies in our life, that's who I asked to join me on our well chats this week, are the ladies in my life. I had my girls on with me for our last chat. And today I have my sweet, dear mother in law, and she is such an encourager to me and takes incredible care of our family and is so loving and kind and teaches us what it is like to be extremely devoted to your family. So I call her Nana. But Nana, thank you so much for being with us today. Will you tell us all a little bit more about who Nana is?
Well, I'm Debbie Williams, uh, more commonly known or more lovingly known as Nana. That is my favorite name, I think, is Nana. But I've been on the earth a long time. I've been married to the same man, a wonderful man, for almost 50 years. In 2022, we'll celebrate our 50th wedding anniversary. We've raised two beautiful children. They married wonderful people and have given us five beautiful grandchildren. So I work at United Community Bank, a place that I truly love, and I love the people with, and I love what the bank stands for. That's very important to me as I enter the sunset of my career. I have been banking since 1983, and that's a long time. So it's been a pleasure to be a banker for the majority of my career.
That's awesome. So tell us what it's like being a grandmother to five grandchildren. That's a lot to take care of.
They certainly challenge me. I laugh and say they think I'm their playmate because they think I can still do things that I used to do 20 years ago. And sometimes I still can. I can still play ball and do some of the things I used to do, but just not as well as I used to could do it. But it's so much fun to be with them. I have two dancers. I have two baseball players. I have a grandson that plays football and another granddaughter that plays soccer. And it's just a joy. They are my joy. They are my heart. And I love being involved. I love going to watch. Ainsley is competing for Miss Georgia this year, and that's been a fun thing for the two of us to share and do together. That's been a lot of fun. And that's just like I said, it's just my favorite job. It's the thing that I love the most.
Well, they certainly love their Nana, and it's hard for me to sometimes think, how can I keep up with Nana? Because when Nana comes over, they do. They know that Nana's going to go outside and play basketball with them, or throw the ball to hit with that wiffle bat, or play Uno. Now, Abigail is a mean Uno card shark. She loves to play Uno with Nana. And I know how much of a blessing Nana has been to my girls over the years, just getting ready for prom and dances. And now we're getting ready for Miss Georgia. But supportive to the utmost degree. This grandmother is for sure. We don't have an event. We don't have a ball game that Nana doesn't show up for, and our kids know that their Nana and their Papa love them to the ends of the earth. They're very fortunate to have her in life, and but I think it's a neat place for you to get to sit and being the lead pastor of Southside's mother. So tell us a little bit about that. How does that feel?
Well, it's a remarkable feeling, but most of all, it's very humbling. I sit there so many Sundays, and I can't wait to sit there again in person.
Amen.
But um, I cry a lot because I guess you just have to be there and experience that joy that goes so deep in your heart to know that your son is such a godly man, such a godly father and husband. Um, his love for the Lord is paramount in his life. And seeing that play in front of me has been one of the greatest joys of my life.
Well, he certainly knows he's got two great cheerleaders right here for him. And so I know he probably doesn't look forward to anybody other than these two ladies to tell him that he did a really good job every Sunday. So
Yeah.
that just keeps fanning his flame. And he loves knowing that his mom is here with us every Sunday and his dad. That's a sweet joy of being able to do church at Southside because all of our family comes to church here with us. And that is an immense blessing. So, do you have a fun fact that you could share with us about?
Well, I do. Um, Jeff was painfully shy growing up. And I know some people know that, especially the people who grew up with him. But that is something that comes to mind first. Um, we laugh and say his dad, he got in more trouble for being too shy than he did for bad things he did. He just really struggled to communicate with other people until he was in college, really. Um, two other fun facts. He was a big G.I. Joe man. He loved his G.I. Joes. They were so organized. All the guns were in the right slots and all that. He loved Star Wars. He's a big sports fan, always has been. Loves baseball and football, and he loves the local football team that he works with. I think that's one of his biggest joys in ministry too, is the Jefferson High School football team and the players. So he's just a fun guy when you get to know him. Started out very shy, now he's not, and that's been fun to watch over the years. But he's a great guy.
That is great. I remember you're talking about him having those G.I. Joe men so organized. So I didn't know that. But when we dated, his CD case, he had this incredible size CD case. It probably held 40 CDs. I don't know. But they were in alphabetical order. I was like,
That would be Jeff.
what
Yes.
what guy keeps his CDs in alphabetical order?
Yep. Jeff Williams. That's who.
Yes, yes, it was awesome. So, and he's definitely taught me a lot about sports. I don't know if I have fallen for it as much as he probably would hope, but I've learned more about sports than I ever thought I would because Jeff Williams is such a sports guy. And I'm so glad he has Amory in his life now, his son, that he can enjoy sports with. And they're really having a hard time with this coronation because baseball's not on right now. We have
I
just
know.
we have just watched the 1995 World Series again. And I would walk in the room and he's like on pins and needles. And I'm like, babe, do you not know what's going to happen? So he really tries to relive it to the fullest. Well, tell us, did you ever think he would be a pastor as he was growing up and in your mind and what you thought he would become in life?
Well, things are always easier looking back. You see things so much more clearly. But no, I didn't. I didn't see it coming. He didn't make that decision until late in his college life. He was 6 months from graduation when he told his dad and I. And I didn't say much because I didn't know what to say. Um, and Phil, bless his heart, he said things he probably shouldn't have said. But it was a shock. It was a good shock. And once we kind of wrapped our heads around it and started looking back at his life, I could see where God had prepared him in so many ways. For instance, I think in the 7th grade or 8th grade, he competed in an Optimist Club public speaking contest. And we thought, what? This kid that won't speak to other people wants to do a public speaking contest. But he won it. And it was in his college life, the things that he excelled at the most were people related and public speaking related. And and I just see all those things as God preparing him for what he does today. And he once he made his decision, he was 100% committed. He dove right into ministry, and the rest is history. He's not looked back, and his desire to do ministry and lead people to Christ is, I think, the most exciting thing in his life. And I see that every time he preaches. I feel that, and I think you can too if you listen.
Right. I know he's ours, but it is not hard to brag on him and to be proud of him, because to me he's the full package. He's everything that a pastor should be. He is an incredible communicator, and he loves preparing for his messages, and he loves sharing the gospel. But I think the biggest part of Jeff Williams is his heart and how much he loves people. And he has the shepherd heart that I believe that God calls to be a pastor in life. And I just think he's the real deal. What everybody sees here on
That
church
is true.
and on Sunday mornings is Jeff Williams. There's no faking it. He is the real deal, and what you see is what we get to experience every day of life. And he's just such a great encourager to all of us. And I just say that with the most genuine part of me that I can share that with, because he is
That's
the
true.
best. Well,
He is.
tell us a little bit more about Nana and getting involved in the banking business. What led you to wanting to be a banker or got you into this career?
Well, I first started out, I don't know, I was just looking for a job, and a good friend of mine, Linda Potts, and now former boss, Elton Collins, hired me for a position at what then was Community Bank and Trust. And they offered me the opportunity to be promoted into other jobs. And after 8 years or so, I became a lender, and went on to manage another local community bank, um, which led me here. So I managed the United Community Bank Jackson County market, and I'm very proud of that. We have started this bank here in Jackson County in 2006, and we'll be celebrating 15 years soon. That's hard to believe, but we've grown a lot. I'm fortunate enough to work with local people that I've worked with, some of them for 30 years. And it's just a great bunch of people trying to do good for their community and the people in their community. And it's just been a pleasure.
That's neat that you said that the bank has been there for about 15 years, or United Community Bank in the Jackson County area, because Southside started in 2006 too. So
Yep,
our next birthday will be 15 years. Incredible how we both started, or both of our families started in a new venture at the same time, and being able to experience the big ride of all the things that the different years have brought us, ups and downs for sure. But I was able to meet Nana at the bank. That was where my one of my first jobs was at First Commerce Bank in Commerce, and I was able to meet Nana there, Miss Debbie Williams, and she actually introduced Jeff and I. So for those of you who've never heard our story, Nana's a big part of that, and I say she can't get rid of me because she picked me.
that's right.
But I love banking, and I think the only thing that could have taken me out of that was ministry. So I've always teased Jeff and say I'm going to retire from ministry and go be a teller again. That's fun, counting money, count money.
Yeah.
But well, what is the highlight of your job of being in lending and in banking and managing United Community Bank there?
I think the highlight for me is helping other people. Um, it may be to build their home or to start a business or buy new equipment for their business or a new truck or, that something that's going to help them get to the next level in their business. It's just so rewarding to know that you have a small part in their success. Um, we recently, as a bank, participated in the payroll protection plan that the SBA did, and that just our bank alone loaned over $1 billion to the local communities in Georgia, South Carolina, Tennessee, and North Carolina. And that was very rewarding for those of us who participated in it. It was a lot of work. It was, a lot of 14-hour days, 7 days a week for about a month to get it all done. But the loans are funding, and most of them have funded now. And hopefully over the next weeks, we will see the reward for those loans being made in our community. People will hopefully get back to work and businesses can thrive again. That's the reason we did it. And it's been a real joy to have participated in it.
And it's a blessing to have a
It
banker in
is.
your life. That is a blessing. To me, it's a blessing to have a banker in your life that cares about you as well. And I know that when people go into United Community Bank, they are met with people who genuinely care about them, and they do. They want to see you succeed in life, and having that support financially is an immense blessing. And I know you spoke a little bit about that with the coronation and what those SBA loans and grants are doing for people. And it is phenomenal. But I was just listening to the news this morning, and we have got to have our commerce back up and running again, because
That's
that's,
right.
one of the blessings of being and living in America and being an American is the free enterprise and the ability to trade. And that's what fuels our economy. And so I'm ready to see people be able to get back to work and to do their business and to do the things that they love and what they've been purposed to do on this earth. And I believe that Nana had a purpose of being a banker, and she has done a phenomenal job of doing that. And I know you've got some great financial wisdom that it could probably take us a couple of days to sit down and for you to share with us. But is there a nugget that you could give to people out there, just a financial piece of wisdom that you'd like to share?
I would say to protect your credit. I don't know how you get through life without having some form of credit. Please don't ever take that for granted. Always pay things on time. A good credit rating is better than cash in the bank a lot of times. I know you've heard that saying, but when you go to buy a home or you go to buy a car, not many people can pay those things in cash. And if you don't honor and take care of your credit, then you may never have your own home or a nice vehicle or a lot of things. So I think that would be the number one thing I would say is to honor your commitments, pay your bills on time, um, keep a good credit rating, and you should be able to get through life just fine. But I'd say that over the years, I've seen people that do the right things with credit grow their businesses and their families, and people who don't have a lot harder time in life. So I would say taking care of your credit, your personal credit situation is the number one thing.
That's great. That's great advice. And I think about Jeff and I and how, we've always made that an important part of kind of like our character is paying those
Right.
bills on time and fulfilling those commitments. But I tell you, that credit world is scary because somebody
It
can
is.
ruin your credit. They can steal your identity, or things can be reported in a negative way on your credit history. And so I would also just like to add to that and saying keep up with it. Don't just
That's true.
do fulfill your commitments, pay your bills on time, don't wait until you're ready to go apply for a mortgage loan and find out that someone has put a lot of bad stuff on your credit report, because it takes a while to get it cleaned
It
up.
does.
And that's just another hassle in life that we don't anticipate, we don't foresee coming, just like Corona has done for all of us. And I would just, I know you mentioned a little bit about the days at the bank and how they got long, but tell us a little bit about the good, bad, and the ugly of Coronication with you and what you've had to experience.
Well, we are open by appointment. It's the way we are doing it right now. So if you we have opened a lot of accounts that people have just gone through our drive-through and signed the documents, or we've met some of them outside at their cars. We are trying to stay 10 people or below in the bank at all times. So we're doing things by appointment right now. We hope to open back up in the next few weeks, full service. We're looking forward to that. Um, but it's been business as usual around here, and we've tried to meet the needs of people throughout this virus as best we could, while keeping our employees safe. Our employees are very important, and we're doing things now to prepare for when we do open, about what our safety precautions will be. But we want to be open and ready to serve.
That's great. Well, what are some silver linings that you found during this time?
Um, I tell you, the thing that I think my takeaway is, how families have gotten back together, how families have had meals together again, um, how you've played games, how you've watched TV together. Good old fashioned family values that we used to do when Jeff and Ashley were growing up. We always ate dinner together. That was something that was a precious time in our family life. And I'm seeing families do that again. They're cooking their own food again. And I just think family time together is something we've lost over the years, with so much importance put on um, sporting events and outside events. And I love them as much as anybody, but we have lost that quality family time through all of that. And I've seen families come back together again, and it's just been a beautiful thing. People have been able to rest, not going 90 miles an hour every day. When you get home, you can relax and take a walk and walk your pets, and go outside and just enjoy the fresh air. And a lot of people are going on hikes and bicycling, and I mean, it's just wonderful to see the family unit again. I just have loved seeing that. I've enjoyed being at home with my family, and not feeling like we had to rush off to a whatever. So I've loved that family time that we've enjoyed over the last few weeks.
I would agree. It has certainly slowed the Williams family down, and those family meals have been so sweet. And the conversations, I found just me and the girls on the front porch the other night, just talking. And I thought we don't normally get this opportunity to just sit down and talk about life and think about the things that are really important. And I thought about this morning how we had a really mean game of hide and go seek at our house a couple of months ago, like right when this thing first started. And those kinds of things just wouldn't have ever happened because we would have been at a ball field or we would have been in the dance studio. And it has just lent us so many more times together as a family, and I'm grateful. I count it very much as a blessing and an answered prayer. Honestly,
Yeah,
I love being able to do that. Well, tell us something that you want to do as soon as this thing opens
I
up.
want to go out to eat in a nice restaurant. There's so many things that I thought about. Oh, well, I'd like to run here and get that. Well, you can't run here and get that because everything's closed. So I'll be glad when life is back to normal as far as shopping and um, going out to eat, and if I want to go to a movie or something like that. Those things I truly miss. And
Yeah. I went to a store just this past Monday, and you can get in the store, but you can't try on clothes. I was like, oh, I don't know how this is gonna fit. And then I'm like, I've got 10 things, and then you need earrings to go with the outfits too. And I got home with it all, and I think I'm gonna take it all back. It's just like that was a wasted trip. I'm ready for
Right.
fitting rooms to open back up, and
Yeah.
Bath and Body Works. They're still not open. I'm having to have that shipped to the house too. So I'm ready for those two stores to open back up for me. Well, is there something that you feel like God has taught you through this, Nana?
Well, I love in the Bible where, so many times it says, do not fear. And I think I have experienced fear in this, and I know I'm not the only one. Um, I'm just the joy and the peace that you get in God's word. And this time has allowed me more time um, to spend in my Bible time. And I love that we are reading through the Bible at Southside. That's been something that I've really enjoyed. And, I feel like I had the time to really get into the verses and the messages that are coming from it. But the peace and the joy that surpasses all understanding has been so vivid to me. I don't want this thing to steal my joy and rob me of the peace that I feel living here. And the Bible just says over and over again, do not fear, and that God is always with us. And I try to hang on to that and take comfort in that. And and those are just things that come to mind. So I guess that's my answer.
That is great. Well, I think about that, and I think about how many times we've talked about in our house that God has told us not to fear, to not be afraid, 365 times in
That's
His
right.
Word. And I think He knows that every day is going to carry some sense of trouble, something about it may be a little hard, a little difficult, but He's given us everything that we need for this journey in life if we'll just go to Him. And I think that through this, we have learned that we have got to depend on Him more and more, and we know how we are to do that. And I would just like to leave us with a quote that I read this morning, and it's by Kelly Brown. And she says, we are to be fully engaged in our calling, both our spiritual battles and our responsibilities in this world. And I thought, how true is that? We're in spiritual battle. We're in a battle with an enemy that we can't see, and we don't know how it's going to affect our tomorrow, what our tomorrow is going to look like. But we have a good God that's faithful, that we can trust in, and He's just asking us to do our part. He's just asking us to fight that spiritual battle with Him as our armor, and He's just asking us to fulfill the responsibilities that He's given us. And you've done that. You've fulfilled those responsibilities at the bank and with your family, and you're depending on Him. And that's just such an encouragement to all those around you. And I know that those ladies at the bank and those customers have come in, and they've been encouraged by a lady who loves the Lord, who is getting her strength from the Lord, and they're encouraged. And you're letting your light shine there, and they're in turn going out and being encouraged as well. But thank you for being with us today, Nana, and
You're welcome.
thank you for being our Nana. And your Nana to so many people, and I know people at the church, they don't know what else to call you either, so they call you Nana. But we say we love you and happy Mother's Day, and happy Mother's Day.
Thank you. And same to you, Candy.
Thank you. Happy Mother's Day to all the ladies watching with us today. We love